GBP spikes on a solid UK inflation report. What happened then, guys? So this morning at 9:30, the time that we always get UK data, inflation came in well ahead of expectations for the month of January. So we had the year-on-year rate of inflation come in at 1.8% for the month of January, much higher than expectations, which were, most analysts were expecting something more like 1.6%. Obviously, what happens when you get data that's much better than what we expected? You see a spike, and we saw that spike in GBP, right? So how does this latest data fit into like the broader picture then? Well, it's just the latest in a string of really solid data points coming out of the UK. Think about yesterday, jobs data. It was solid. It showed that at the end of 2019, the UK labour market just finished really well, despite the economy slowing down towards the end of last year. Labour market was still doing really well. We've also had PMI data for January, really strong. House prices have been coming back so far this year. Things are looking good for the UK economy at the moment, guys. Why are things looking good at the moment then, you might ask? Well, I mean, the main thing that is really helping the UK economy out at the moment is less uncertainty, right? So remember, in December, we had the general election. You had Boris Johnson, who said, we're going to do Brexit, this is what we're going to do. And then you had the alternative, which was potentially a hung parliament. You never know what policies a government in a hung parliament's going to do. Or a Corbyn-led government, led by Labour. They were talking about another Brexit referendum, which would create huge uncertainty, right? So basically, after Boris Johnson won, he brought in political certainty, and businesses could breathe a breath of relief. They know what the future is going to hold. For the short term anyway, but we'll get onto that towards the end of the video. So how does the Bank of England see all of this data then? Well, to be honest, the Bank of England is going to be on hold for the foreseeable future, right? They're in no great rush to do anything, right? Inflation is coming back towards their 2% target. The economy is rebounding. They're going to be sat very happily at the moment. Another thing which they're going to be happy about is the fact that the UK is probably going to get more fiscal stimulus soon as well. Remember, guys, just a couple of days ago, Sajid Javid resigned and was replaced by Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak is much closer to PM Johnson, and what do we know that Johnson wants to do? He wants to spend money. So we're expecting that the UK Treasury is going to basically go along with the government much more now, and it's going to increase the probability of fiscal stimulus, right? Which is good for the economy. So fiscal stimulus, Bank of England on hold, data getting better, three good things, right? This should mean that the outlook for GBP going forward should be solid, right? Hold up a second. There is one risk. We always go on about it here at Freak Network. One major risk that is really capping the upside for GBP at the moment. What is it? We all know what it is. UK-EU trade relations. Obviously, by the end of the year, the EU and the UK need to negotiate this future relationship, future trading relationship, and the two sides are miles apart. They are miles apart, and things are looking really tense at the moment. We had some news this morning from the EU side. It basically sounds like they're really digging their heels in. And from the UK side, they're digging their heels in too. It's going to be really tough to see how these two sides can come together and find a compromise. What does that mean? There's risk of a WTO Brexit at the end of the year. Basically the same as a no-deal Brexit, right? And that risk is going to weigh on GBP as long as the two sides don't have an agreement. In fact, we actually saw this initial spike that we're talking about on the inflation data pared back this morning, probably due to these concerns over the future relationship between the EU and the UK. This is a theme that is going to be recurring. We might see spikes on the data, but then coming back on political reasons, EU-UK stuff. It's going to be something we're all over here at Freak Network. So yeah, that is pretty much it from me for now, and I will see you in the next one.